Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm out here this morning just harvesting whatever I can harvest. I got my basket and I am gonna be making some time this morning to gather food. I'm gonna be getting some marigold flowers, so I have this separate here to put that in. Here I have a pen and a notebook and some little baggies that I'm going to be separating and marking because I want to be able to label them as soon as I harvest it, because those are the seeds that I'm going to be saving. And for now I'm just going to temporarily harvest and label them as I go along today, because if I leave it for later, everything will get mixed up and I will forget, what I have in certain bags. So I just want to make sure I stay on top of my labeling. So that's why I have all this here. And that's what I'm trying to do going forward. Labeling, not just growing food, but also knowing what I'm growing. And not because I have lots of experience in growing my own food doesn't mean that I know everything. I'm learning to be more organized. So these right here is a very tiny, I believe it's the tiniest tomatoes I've ever seen, and these are grown for ornamental purposes. But I am going to be eating these. Nice little snack. They're really tiny. And here I'm going to compare it with a penny so you can see the true size of what the tomato is. Things are starting to dwindle down, so I'm out here grabbing whatever I can. And I prefer to have my tomatoes, I don't know, but for some reason it broke off. As I was saying, I prefer to have my tomatoes ripen on the vine because it tastes way better than when you have them ripe on your countertop. And not only that, I want to make sure that they reach full maturity so I can save the seeds. So once they ripen on the vine, I know for a fact that the seeds are going to be viable for storing and planting in the future. I still have cauliflower. I think I'm going to grab this one this morning. Now the chicken can have a snack. Let them tear it up. Then of course I'll be harvesting all these random tomatoes that grew up in my garden. There's randoms everywhere. All these are randoms. They never stop. Okay, turkeys, I hear y'all. See that? A tomato branch was just sitting on the ground and it rooted right there. So I'm gonna put it back somewhat on the ground, but kinda. What's the matter, y'all? We'll come out when I'm done harvesting, okay? They're talking to me because they wanna come out here. But I gotta close this gate back so they don't get in my garden again today. So now you wait. And then I picked this up only to show you guys that I have these Egyptian walking onions popping up everywhere in my garden. Look at that. So if you want to control it, you better catch it while they're... See, these grow to the top. I'm just going to pull this one out. They grow at the top of the leaf right here, like so. And when it gets too heavy, it drops down and it roots right there. So that's where they rooted. But I'm going to continue harvesting these tomatoes. And I have a bunch of dandelions in here that I need to be harvesting also. Listen, I can't tell you how much dandelion I've harvested this year, but I'm going to keep harvesting them because I use them. Egyptian walking onion. It's literally outside of the fence in my back garden here. And yeah, sometimes I eat directly from the garden, not even thinking about it, but I know I should wash it first. A lot of us do it sometimes, and I've been so comfortable doing this, and it's just a habit over the years. I feel like what I plan to do in the garden when I came out here this morning is just falling through because I have so much to harvest. So I'm just going to be harvesting these kale. I am so excited about harvesting my ginger this year, and it's growing so well. I am going to be experimenting with it also because I'm going to leave some in to overwinter. It's probably going to die back, and I'm going to really pack it with some straw just to experiment and see what it does. With the way the weather patterns have been changing, especially last winter, we did have some snow and some bitter temperatures, but it did not last as long as what would normally be a winter in New England. So I think it's okay for me to experiment and see what the ginger does. And that's how I learn as I go along. I get to experience different things while I'm growing in my garden. And this knowledge is obtained from me actually experiencing it and putting in the work myself. Now over here I have some berries that are coming in again, and this is the second time for the season. Ooh, I'm going to be having this snack, and because the weather is so favorable for this, it's not hot and scorching out, and it's a little bit cooler than normal, so these are doing really well. I know I got to stay on top of it because they're going to ripen really fast, especially with the rains that we've been getting lately. And over here I have my black eyed peas, thanks to you Planter Garden TV. For the seeds, these are growing really well, and as you can see, they are coming into maturity. I still have some flowers popping up, so I can't wait. I guess I'm just going to leave it, let the bushes die back, and then I'm going to harvest them when they are nice and dry. I'm always excited when it's the first time I'm growing something new. Over here I have this gray zucchini. I'm going to harvest just one of them, the bigger one, and this has been giving me food all season long so far. And like I said, I have been keeping the vines healthy and clipping off the older leaves. And there's one of the vine borers that destroys your plant, so make sure you get rid of that if you see them. Now this yellow bell pepper here, I am not going to harvest it. I want it to ripen all the way. I'm pretty sure the seeds are already viable, but I'd rather have it ripen a little more, so I'll probably harvest that in a couple days. These jalapenos, I know I should be harvesting them, but because I am not going to be able to process them today, I'm going to let them stay on the tree for now because I don't want to overwhelm myself too much because I'm harvesting a lot of tomatoes today, so I'm going to be making tomato sauce and canning it. And then I still got to process all the greens that I'm going to be harvesting and, washing up the herbs and putting them out to dry. So it's going to be a productive day in the garden and in the kitchen. D-Mood, I promise I'm not showing off, but look at my Minnesota midget melon. Thank you so much for those seeds. And of course, more tomatoes. So, yeah. And then I'm going to harvest my first corn of the season. I did plant different varieties of corn. I normally don't plant a lot of corn, but I'll stick a few kernels in and allow it to grow. And here I have an okra that I'm harvesting. They have been very skimpy this year. And another summer squash. This is a Cocozelle variety zucchini. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab these kale leaves. Am I the only one that also harvests the damaged leaves? Because I wash it up and I use it just like if it was perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with it once I wash out all the bugs and worms and caterpillars in there. yeah, it's food for me, because if the bugs could eat it, guess what? I'm eating it too, and I'm gonna eat more than they're eating because I'm the one that put in the work. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you guys use the damaged leaves. Sometimes I give it to my chickens, but I do use the leaves when they're damaged by the bugs. I'm harvesting these marigolds right here because I need them. They are herbs. I'm going to be gathering these. Look at these nice big flowers, and they're putting out flowers everywhere. The more I harvest it, the more they pop out flowers. Look at all this. So I planted marigold all over my garden just to make sure I have enough to harvest and to keep the bugs away. Oh, I got a morning snack. I got a morning snack. It's ready. I'm gonna also harvest this calendula here. These are beautiful flowers, and also the pollinators enjoy them. I also use these for herbal purposes to make teas and tinctures. And so everything I grow in my garden, I try to grow it with a purpose, and that way I can get multiple uses for any one given plant in my garden. And I can also save some seeds. See how this is dried out right here? I'm going to be saving those seeds, but I'm going to go ahead and do a big harvest today of all the things that are, you know, growing and producing. So it will continue to produce as I harvest it. Now right here is my lavender queen butterfly pea. It did not do well at all, but I've been harvesting the flowers from it. This pepper right here, I am gonna let it ripen. It's a nice big size. The tree is small, but it's been producing peppers all season long. Look at all these peppers still on it. It's got peppers different sizes at different stages, and it is actually still putting out flowers. Look at all those buds right there, and even flowers at the top here. So I'm gonna let the big one stay so I can get seeds from that and I can save it up. Now these tomatoes, I'm gonna allow that to ripe on the tree, and once it's ripened, I'll just pull it off and pull the plant up. Now over here I have more marigold. Like I said, I have marigold all over my garden. If you look in the distance, you'll see marigold everywhere flowering. The pollinators are loving it, and so I am going to continue to harvest my share. The pollinators are going to get their share and you know, everybody will be happy. Now over here I have these yellow pear tomato. As you can see it, I think you can see between the bushes, but look at all these pollinators here, and it's because these flowers here on this tomatillo plant is attracting them. And I've been trying to get in there, but I keep forgetting that I need to go in there at nighttime when the pollinators are asleep and get those tomatoes. So I'll have to do that tonight. But if you look at this tomatillo plant right here, it's been putting out so much fruits. I can probably grab these yellow pear tomatoes here, but I'm just going to sneak in and grab this one because it's already ripened and dropped off the tree. And now over here I have more peppers. This pepper is growing like crazy. I have so much peppers I've been harvesting. If you look right here, I've popped off peppers throughout the season to cook fresh and to make salads and just use in the kitchen. That's an old stem, and I've been pulling out peppers everywhere. Now over here I have this blue borage, and I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this because I'm harvesting everything like I said. And these are the flowers, and the seeds are right in there, so they just drop and reseed themselves, and they would come back the following year. Over here I'm saving some seeds. I have an organza bag, but I've been harvesting blue borage and white borage all season long. Well, actually lots of herbs. So I've been gathering herbs all season long, drying them, putting them up, using them, not just growing it to say I'm harvesting it, but to actually use it. So I just want to make sure I have enough to use. I can use it fresh, I can preserve it, whatever I choose to do with it, I have enough of it. So that's what I've been concentrated on doing. And here I have more peppers. I'm going to allow these to mature some more. They're still pretty green. Look at all this produce I'm able to get from my garden. And my garden is pretty much my yard. My cucumber did not disappoint me at all this year. The vine is still pushing cucumbers even though it looks this bad. So I've planted this here early in the spring, and it is August now, late August, and it's still giving me fruits. Even these over here, and I did plant some more for the fall season because I noticed that the cucumber is doing so well this year. So I'm going to be storing up a lot of these. So I'm happy with that. These beans here, these bush beans, I had such a hard time with them earlier on in the season because of the rabbits. Every time the plant sprouted new leaves, the rabbits would come around and eat all the leaves up. And so I went ahead and planted some pole beans. But if you look here, you can see a dried pod, and I'm going to save that as seeds for future planting. Oh, this is my caraway herb right here. It's gone to seed, and I've been harvesting from it, but I'm going to save some of these seeds. Now these dragon tongue beans are prolific bearers, and these here I'm going to save them for seeds. And obviously I need to do another harvest. What I've been doing is harvesting, blanching, and freezing, but I'm probably going to have to can some of this. And this right here is my Taiwan yard long beans. This one has gone to seed. I allow it to go to seed so I can save some of those seeds. It's all dried out. And these ones now I'm going to harvest that, and it's going to be putting out more because it's going up this trellis here. I allowed it to go up the trellis, and it's putting out more flowers as it goes higher and higher up there. So that's a good thing. More food. I know it's becoming later in the season now, but that's okay. We still have some time. And over here I have the red variety. So I have the green and also the red, and they're both climbing on this trellis right here. So here we go with the flowers, and we are going to be getting more food. And these I planted in May, sorry. But yeah, so I'm going to have different varieties of these beans, and I'm going to be able to save some seeds for planting in the future. That way I don't have to keep buying and rebuying seeds. Now these berries, I'm telling you, these blackberries, guys, I've had so much blackberries this year till I don't know what to do. Oh, there's a pepper, whatever pepper this is. I think that's a green pepperoncini. I have more squash, summer squash, and ain't nothing better than a juicy snack in the garden. But let's go harvest those beans. I didn't think I would be doing that today, so now I got my work cut out for me. And that's the thing about getting into your garden, because you don't go in there because you don't have stuff to do. But I'm a person that walks into my garden every morning and every evening. And so I've been watching these beans, but never thought that they would be growing this much. I would be getting so much food from this variety of beans. And like I said, it's the first time I've grown these beans. So they're good, they're tasty. I like to saute it. And there's a lot of health benefits from eating these bean pods. So do your research. Some people may not like beans, but if you find different ways of cooking it, I'm pretty sure you'll fall in love with one of the ways. And whether you like it crunchy, whether you like it soft, whether you like it in stews or soups or whatever. But look at all that beans. You can't go wrong with that. So I guess we're going to be doing some preserving today. Now this red Reuben basil here has gone to seed. I'm going to harvest some of that, but I'm going to save some of these flowers for the pollinators. It's fine if it drops and reseed itself next year. That I'm fine with that, because I think that's a brilliant way of saving seeds and actually starting your seeds for the next season, because if the seeds drop right there, it'll just pop up, and all you have to do is transplant. So some things I don't mind it regrowing or reseeding itself. It's just not the really invasive plants. I don't allow that to happen with it, but I think allowing the basil to do that would work out perfect for me. So I was able to harvest most of the basil, and like I said, I left a little bit for the pollinators to enjoy. And we still actually have some more time left in the season for this to regrow, and I can still harvest from it. I also have this sweet basil right here. It's growing nice and tall and beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and harvest that. And here we have more summer squash. Going to harvest that too. I've been pickling those and canning it. And it's a lot of work when you're a gardener. It's a lot of work to harvest. It's a lot of work to preserve. But that won't stop me from growing my food. This summer squash has grown all the way. Look how long this is. And I grew this in the beginning of the season. It started back there, and look, it's still growing because I kept clipping all the old leaves off and keeping the vine as healthy as I can. And when it's sitting on the ground, it just roots right where it's at. So it's getting extra nutrients from the soil as it grows longer and longer. So that has worked tremendously for me with my squash in the garden this year. And over here is where I have most of my raspberries, and this is the second time for the season that it's bearing fruit. And what I normally do in the fall, I would preserve the harvest, whereas in the spring and summer I would actually eat all of it, make smoothies with it and what have you. But look at all this fruit that I'm going to be getting, and I'll be able to preserve this and store it up. They're delicious and they're flavorful. And these are perennials, so they come back every year. You just have to maintain the bush because it could get really out of hand. And as you can see, it grows, it bears a lot of fruit. A lot of fruit. More than anyone could ever need. Oops, something's got into my tomatoes. Alright, I'll just keep these. If these are black crims, I'll keep these for seed. But this is just a little tour and a little encouragement for new gardeners, for old gardeners, for overwhelmed gardeners, for people who are thinking about gardening, just everybody. I grew up gardening and I won't stop. And this right here is my Mad Hatter pepper. Look at it. It looks like a hat, right? Yeah. First time growing it, so I'll be saving those seeds. Thank you to everyone who showed up here today. Whoever is going to be watching this video in the future, I hope you get some type of positive energy from it, because this is my intention. You don't have to do it the way you see me doing it, but I just want to motivate you to try. Stop being so comfortable and making excuses, because round 2 is coming real fast. If you have space to grow a garden, and with all that's going on and you haven't started a garden yet and you don't have plans in place, you're kind of late. But maybe not too late. Now is not the time to procrastinate. Get up and do something. Be proactive and be intentional about it. Do something that's going to sustain you. Do something that's going to save your life or your family's life. Once again, thank you for coming. Stay safe and stay blessed. I'll see you in the next video.